We need to talk about a Montreal Canadiens draft pick who's setting the KHL on fire. Alexander Zharovsky, drafted by the Canadiens in the second round of the 2025 draft, is on pace to break all kinds of records in the KHL for a player under 20 years of age. And those records are held by none other than Ivan Demidov. Zharovsky currently has 5 goals and 7 assists for 12 points in just 12 games played for Salavat Ulayev in the KHL. He leads all U20 players in scoring and is on pace for a point per game season. This is a higher pace than both Ivan Demidov and Kirill the Thrill Kaprizov. Now, expectations do need to be somewhat tampered when it comes to Zharovsky, but when scouting Zharovsky, the Canadiens clearly saw that he was an elite offensive player, and it's quite possible that the Canadiens made the steal of the draft by selecting him in the second round of the 2025 draft. Zharovsky has shown dynamic playmaking, goal scoring, awareness, and displays a ferocious tenacity for finding the puck and making creative and smart plays for his team. Zharovsky's head coach, Viktor Kozlov, has displayed immense faith in Zharovsky and has recently been playing him at center. This could be the answer to the Canadiens' question of who is going to be their second line center behind Nick Suzuki. Zharovsky was drafted as a winger, but Canadian scouts did note that he was fully capable of playing at center. And if his rookie season in the KHL is any indication, this may be a home run of a pick for the Montreal Canadiens. A teammate of Zharovsky's even described him as an artist who is eager to win and wants to learn at any chance he gets. Add to this that the Canadiens already have a superstar Russian forward in the making in Ivan Demidov, and these two young players have a personal connection. Kent Hughes spoke to Ivan Demidov prior to drafting Zharovsky. Demidov had nothing but positive things to say about Zharovsky when asked by Hughes. Demidov even reached out to Zharovsky when he found out he was being drafted by the Canadiens. He congratulated him, he reached out to see what kind of emotions were going through his head, and Demidov offered right away to help Zharovsky with anything he needed. The scouts had similar things to say about Zharovsky and Demidov. The players have similar profiles, not only in terms of their ability on the ice, but in their character off the ice, which has been a crucial part of the Canadiens' rebuild and a major focus in terms of the types of players they're looking to draft onto their team. Whether or not Zharovsky can maintain this pace throughout the season remains to be seen, but he's off to a much faster start than even Ivan Demidov was last year. Demidov played in 65 games in the 2024-25 season in the KHL, and he set a record for the most points in a season by an under-20 player with 49. Zharovsky is on pace to crush that record. Now, this likely isn't going to be the final rate of production for this player, but this is incredibly positive for the Canadiens' hopes in the future. Now, unlike Demidov, it is extremely unlikely that Zharovsky is going to be coming over anytime soon to North America. He's contracted in the KHL through the 2026-2027 season. It's possible he could be released early, but it's not likely that it will happen before the end of the 2026-2027 KHL season, which would mean that Zharovsky could be set to join the Canadiens in a manner similar to that of Ivan Demidov, however only at the end of his second season of eligibility in April of 2027. One thing that is worth noting is that Salavat is currently experiencing some pretty serious financial problems, so there is a strong chance that Zharovsky could be moved to another team, or even have his contract terminated, and that might be a path towards Zharovsky coming over early. I don't believe Zharovsky is as NHL ready as Demidov was, despite his production in the KHL, but there is a serious chance that the Canadiens just acquired another top 6 or even first line player with a second round pick. And the timeline of Zharovsky's contract ending after the 2026-2027 season lines up perfectly with the Canadiens' current setup. Josh Anderson and Brendan Gallagher's contracts will end after the 2026-2027 NHL season, and they'll be looking for 2 forwards to fill those spots. The likely candidates are Michael Hage and Alexander Zharovsky. Hage is set to be a center for the Canadiens, and there's a strong possibility that Zharovsky could be a center for the Canadiens. And whereas now, center seems to be a bit of a weakness for the Canadiens, in just 2 seasons, we could be looking at 3 dynamic forwards at center for the Canadiens, in Nick Suzuki, Michael Hage, and Alexander Zharovsky. This just means that the Canadiens can afford to be even more patient when it comes to trying to acquire that crucial second line center. They don't need to make any moves that will impact the future of this team. They're already the youngest team in the NHL, and I'm not even kidding. It's likely they're going to get even younger next year, and especially the year after that. One other possibility would be that Zharovsky could join the Canadiens in time for the playoffs next season in 2026-2027. And just imagine the impact that could have. Similar to how Ivan Demidov gathered crucial experience joining the Canadiens last season, a similar path could be in line for Zharovsky. And with the Canadiens just getting better over the next few years, there's a chance that he could experience a deep playoff run in Montreal as his first experience as a Hab. Just think about the foundation that will build and the image that Zharovsky will have of Montreal going forward if that was to come to fruition. The Canadiens clearly loved Zharovsky going into the draft this season, just how they loved Ivan Demidov going into the draft last season. Their scouts spoke glowingly of him, and they emphasized his capability and his potential to be an elite player in the NHL. While Zharovsky is definitely a bit of a riskier pick, and Demidov was more of a sure thing, we could be looking at the potential of a Russian connection that hasn't been seen since the likes of Alex Ovechkin and Yevgeny Kuznetsov during both of their primes. One thing is absolutely for certain, and that's that the Canadiens are loaded with prospects and the cupboards are stocked full. The NHL is going to fear the Canadiens for the next decade, especially if the development progression of their prospects continues going as they have been going already. Let me know your thoughts, guys. What do you see of Zharovsky? Do you think he'll join the Canadiens this year, next year, even further on? Drop us a like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.
That boy is our last hope.
No, there is another.